Blessed be Yahweh, my strength, which teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. My goodness and my fortress, my high tower and my deliverer, my shield and he in whom I trust. You know, that's the beginning of Psalm 144. Last week, I saw a picture which really disturbed me, and it was shot during the riots in London, and there's a man standing on the side of the street in his socks and his boxer shorts, and he's taking off his t-shirt, and he's handing it to a thug who's already holding the victim's shoes and pants and his outer shirt, and now he wants his t-shirt too. And I got to thinking, my Lord, you know, where has the intestinal fortitude of those people gone? I started doing some more reading, and you know, it turns out that the government of Britain has banned baseball bats because they don't want the people defending themselves against these thugs, and so they're taking away their means of defense. You know, with a government like that, you know, they're probably getting the government they deserve. I got to thinking then about, well, what about America? You know, what would people say here in the States? And you know, people are probably like, well, yeah, I got my Glock, or you know, I've got my knife, and I would defend myself with that. And a lot of times we default to tools, and tools are good. Don't misunderstand me. And you should have tools for your defense, means for your survival at hand all the time. But really, self-defense goes deeper than that. And the first thing is, and the reason I started out quoting you from Psalm 144, is you have to have heart. You have to understand that you are a child of Yahweh, a child of Almighty God, and you have a right to be. No one has a right to come molest you, to mess with you, to knock you down in the street and kick you to the curb. They don't have that right. You have a right to self-defense. And so you have to realize that. You have to understand that you have self-worth, and that comes from the Most High. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. I used to have a poster. You know, it was a Special Forces soldier, a Green Beret, and he's standing there. He had nothing in his hands, and it said, "Your mind is your most powerful weapon." And that's true. And you know, that person, that victim that was in the picture, he should have used his brain. All right? When there are riots going on, don't go out in the streets. I mean, avoid them. The prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. That should be us. That should have been him. There were bad things going on. He didn't need to be there. And he should have avoided it. But when trouble comes to you, you still need to use your brain. You know, that guy, instead of handing over his Nikes or whatever his shoes were, should have exercised what I call the Nike defense. And when that thug said, "Hey, give me what you got," he should have turned like this and ran away from that thug. He should have run. Just run away. But he didn't. He was petrified with fear. I have no doubt that he had no, you know, unarmed combat skills. He had no means that he thought he had to defend himself. He certainly didn't have any weapons, not in, you know, merry old England, to defend himself with. And so, this video today, just a short one, you don't want to be that guy. And, you know, we're seeing that in America today. Thugs rob shoes from people. They rob jackets from people. They'll see what's going on in England, and they'll start copycatting that. All right. And so as times get rougher in our country, I said this weekend during the service at church. You could see that here. We were going over the Good Samaritan. I was talking about the Good Samaritan, the parable, and there's this guy beat down in the street. And I said, you know what? This is not just some story. You could actually witness this yourself in the times that are rapidly approaching in our nation. That thug who beat down, you know, those highwaymen and the Good Samaritan who beat him down, you could run into somebody like that. What are you going to do when you do? Start thinking about that now. First, get your heart right. Get it right with God. Psalm 144 ends with, "Happy is that people whose Elohim is Yahweh." You know, happy are those people who know who their God is, who Yahweh is their God. That's you, right? You are his people. So you should be happy. You should have the pride, not in a bad way, but the ability to stick up for yourself and to stick up for the weaker people. Go ahead and get some training. If you don't know how to fight, learn. You need to. At GOTS, we're going to have classes on sticks, stick self-defense. We'll do some unarmed self-defense techniques, but you know what? It'll be an introduction. We just don't have time to teach you everything there. You need to find an instructor. You need to find somebody who has some basic skills and start practicing them. It takes sweat, it takes time to build up these skills, but go ahead and do them. But first thing, get your heart right and get your mind right, and then start developing those skills. I'll see you out there.